Hello, and welcome to a fun little one-shot that we're going to be doing. For those of you guys who have been around for a little while, especially if you've been around since the beginning, you would know that when we first started our campaign a couple of years ago, we did intro one-shots for each of the individual characters, however many of you there were back then, 6, I think. Maybe,
yeah, like maybe.
All 6 of you guys.
If we got lucky, there was like 10.
And then we also did some group shots. And so for the start of the second half of this campaign, we're going to continue to do that. We only have to do one intro shot with our boy Abenthy Triplewitz, as he's the only new character being introduced in the second half of the campaign. And then we will also be doing some group shots, which we'll release to our Patreon. And then a little while later, they will be released to our subs, our Twitch subs. And so Patreon's the early access. And then if you're a Twitch subscriber, you'll be able to have access to those. Those should be coming up sometime in the next coming weeks. Hopefully we'll be able to get them done fairly soon. But be on the lookout for that. But for this, we're doing an intro one-shot with our boy, Abenthy Triplewitz.
Hello, it's me.
That's him. If you guys watched the first episode of the second half of the campaign, then you will have already met Triplewitz. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get this done before we started the second half of the campaign. But should be just fine. So I'm pretty excited to do
I have
this.
a question.
Yes.
I was told that I would ask it before we got to this point, but I forgot, so I'm asking it now. Are the other players allowed to watch this?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Let me think. Let me just think for a second.
Sorry, gang. I've totally forgot. I was like, hey,
sure.
Lydia.
I suppose that'd probably be just fine.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right,
think there's any
Lydia.
spoilers
It's
or anything
okay
not.
for you to be here.
Who was going to watch?
Well, Lydia on Table Scraps was like, hey, am I allowed to watch this? And I was like, I don't know.
Oh.
And so, Lydia, if you're here, you're good.
Supplage.
You're killing it.
Nice. Do you have any questions before we get started, Aaron?
Oh.
Questions, thoughts, concerns?
I'm always concerned. But I don't think so. I would ask for forgiveness. Obviously, I have barely played this character. There's a lot of things that I'm going to forget, and it might take me a little bit. Once I've played this character more, hopefully I can be a bit smoother with what exactly I'm going to be doing and everything, and remembering, oh shoot, I have an ability that's really good. I should probably do that.
No, that would be...
So, bear with me.
There'll be a little bit of history, a little lore, a little exploration, some puzzles, some combat. So we should be able to get all of that in. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and just get started with it. So, Triplewitz.
Yep.
You, sir, are a man of a very interesting history and background. Where we find ourselves in the history of your life is about 7 years before the current events of the campaign, or about 4 years before the group known as Fate's Gambit first met together. So we're a little bit in the past. Okay? You, sir, have been spending the last pretty decent amount of time, several months, looking for a lost temple. Mm-hmm. You were looking for the site of the Hutairan Temple. That's Hutairan. Hutairan.
Gotcha.
An ancient civilization from just after the events of the trial. You know that this temple was constructed nearly 35 years after the trial. This was a group of people who rejected the idea of gods and divinity. They built this temple as a place to devote yourself to this idea that the gods are not to be worshipped and that divine beings have no place messing with the material plane. That is the point of this temple. In the millennia past since then, it has been lost to history, and while the general history of the Hutairan people is kind of known, kind of not known, it's on a different continent than Telira, stuff like that. The temple in and of itself has never been found.
Okay.
You also have been dealing with some interesting personnel, mainly that being of Orban Ironhilt. He's also searching for this temple, and your friendly rivalry is in the thick of it, as it always has been. You guys have been going back and forth. It's like every time that one of you seems to have the upper hand in this mystery of where this temple is, the other finds a way to take it back. And so you guys have been kind of going neck and neck in the history and the searching for this temple. In the coming months, or in the past coming months, you have managed to locate a woman known as Madame Junior. She is a woman whose heritage can be traced back to the Hutterian people, and who is not per se outspoken, but she's not abashed about talking about the history of her people as well. She's a little known soothsayer. You finally were able to find her, and you were able to convince her to give you the location of her family's ancient burial site, where many of her ancestors have been buried, and you believe there'd be a clue to the location of the Hutteri's people and the Hutterian temple. Having gone and visited that site, you look through the burial temple, and you were able to find many of her ancestors and a few different clues, but the biggest one that played into you was a necklace around one of the bodies that is just a simple, smooth river stone with a natural formed hole in it, almost making like a little spyglass. You plucked the necklace, and that paired nicely with a book that you had been, quote-unquote, borrowing from the Scholar's Guide. That is one of the original copies of the Manifesto of the Hutterian people. By looking through this manifesto, while looking through the stone, you discovered that many of the passages within it had additional text and information.
Oh, we're going full, gosh dang, stealing the Declaration of Independence.
Yes. It is very similar to that, I suppose. As you're paging through this, you discovered an extremely important piece of information. While the Hutterian territory has been well explored throughout Dracone, which is the jungle country that the Hutterian people are native to. It's in the west portion of the world. If you would be looking at a map, many of them have been searching in the wrong place. It has been said that ancient lore says that the land that you'll be able to find the land of the Hutterian people through the eyes of the widow. About 20 or so years ago, you know that in that area there was a set of twin waterfalls that were found that were right next to each other that give off the appearance of a face that is weeping. And so many people took that to be the eyes of the widow. And so they have been searching through there and letting that be their entrance point into this territory and been trying to find the place through this entrance point. But in this new version of the book, it says that the entrance is to the eyes of the widow who lusts for revenge against the gods. It completes the sentence.
Gotcha.
Having searched the area, you then sent yourself to Chacon, chartered a ship, made your way to Chacon, and have begun searching the jungles around where you know the Hutterian territory to be. And you actually managed to find a carved face of this enraged woman. In front of that face is a small statue of what you can only assume to be a god. It looks to be of that demeanor, and it looks as if the face is on the verge of swallowing that god.
Sweet.
And so, taking this to be a potential sign of the enraged woman who lusts after the revenge of the gods, you then climb the face, literally, and not just a rock face, but a literal face, and discover that behind the eyes they connect and make a tunnel that makes its way down and down and down. And that is where we find you now. This tunnel is dark, it's damp, it's cold. You find yourself slightly shivering as you make your way down this tunnel. You've been walking for what you would think is about an hour. It's kind of hard to tell time when there's no external factors that time is based off of, such as the stars, the sun, or anything like that. But you think, based off your internal clock, that it's probably been about an hour or so that you've been descending down this cave. After a little while, making your way through. First of all, are you lighting the way? Are you not lighting the way? I believe you also have a weasel. Is this a thing? How are you descending this cave?
Let's
let you have a little interaction here instead of me telling you.
I do not have the light spell, but I do have dancing lights.
Okay.
So I have created, I believe it's 4 orbs of small like torch light, to kind of light a little bit behind me. But mainly the 3 of them in front of me up to 60 feet. Just moving them along with me as I go.
Okay.
So, just descending slowly. The weasel, let me tell you, Thimble, not a sentient living thing. Thimble, my little crochet weasel, basically just a stuffed animal that I can puppeteer very deftly. Okay. Thimble is just on the packs.
It's just laying.
Yeah, I debated whether when I descended into here whether or not I should bring my tailor pack with me, which to describe it a little bit, is basically just a piece of wood and then another piece of wood in an L shape that just has 3 large spools resting on top of it. It is enchanted so it levitates, so that way I'm not carrying like 500 pounds of wood on my back. But they're just mounted with cloth and ribbons and thread, with various items sticking out of the hole of the spools. I did decide to take it with me, and currently Thimble is rolled up in a ball of crochet weasel inside of one of the spools.
Okay.
Not doing a whole lot, but I'm hoping that there will just be nothing in here that will try to kill me, so I'm not exactly being stealthy with the dancing lights or anything like that.
Yeah. And then just for the sake of brevity, is there anything that you have prepared before you entered into this cave or continue?
Oh, always. First off, I have Mage Armor cast, bringing my AC to just a natural standing 16. Nice. While I have Dancing Lights going on, that's a concentration spell, so that brings it up to an 18. I have Contingency cast on me with currently the spell Haste as the triggering contingency, where it will be activated if I say aloud the word Terpsichore, and then haste will be cast upon me in that instance. So those are the main ones that I have prepared. I don't have anything else wicked crazy other than the stuff that I always have that's wicked crazy.
Yeah. That should be one of our merch shirts that we do now. It just says Terpsichore.
Terpsichore? Dude, Terpsichore is rad. It's a sick word.
It is.
Yeah, I'm just descending, watching my footstep, keeping an eye out for like traps or just not well maintained stairs.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception or investigation check for me.
I will take perception because I was like, I won't need investigation. We never need investigation.
Yeah. Also, hi Faye. Glad that you could watch something live.
Faye, you've betrayed me. Your dice have rolled a 1 on that perception check to a total of 7.
Okay. Thankfully, there aren't a lot of traps in this area that you've seen, and also it's definitely slick. Like I said, it's damp, but it's definitely a natural cave that's kind of like winding its way down into this for the cave system, and so it's a very gentle slope that's making its way down, and so you're not actually covering a lot of vertical ground very quickly. That's why it's taken so long to get this deep, because at the angle of descent is pretty minimal, probably only about like 4 degrees or so.
Gotcha.
4 or 5 degrees. So thankfully, while you are like 40, it's really not that old. And so
I'm glad that you knew that. I was literally looking up how old I would be at this time. Yes, I am 40.
Yeah, you're 40. So, you're just hitting your stride in that middle-aged, like, old man strength,
yeah. That dad strength.
That dad strength, yeah, exactly. You make your way down, thankfully not finding any traps, or triggering any traps that you're at least aware of. And after continuing for just a little while more, you find that the path does split into 3 separate tunnels. Above the tunnels, written backwards, so from right to left, it reads, down 1 lies your desire. Down 2 lies death. And down 3 lies freedom.
Hold on.
And I can repeat that several times. Down 1 lies your desire. Down 2 lies death. And down 3 lies freedom. Written from right to left. So written backwards. Almost, I believe that's how Japanese or Chinese characters are written.
There's a lot of Eastern languages read right to left.
Yeah.
I would say actually probably the majority of language in the world is read right to left, if you think about it.
Fair enough.
So shoot. And now describe the location again to me.
So you've been making your way through this winding cave. It's been about 15 feet tall, probably about 10 feet wide, very rounded out. Doesn't look to be like Purple Worm Cave or anything like that, but just kind of a natural forming cave. You have stalagmites and stalactites, or tights, mites. And so you can kind of making your way through there. And then you come upon a kind of a smaller cave or at least a smaller cavern is what I should say, that now has 3 exits to it. So you still have the stalagmites all around you and stalactites above you, but now you have these 3 similar sized caves, 15 by 10 tunnels in front of you. One to your right, one in front of you, and one to your left. And written above those, carved into the rock face above it, is that phrase, down 1 lies your desires, down 2 lies death, and down 3 lies freedom.
Okay, so the cave on my right would have down 1 lies your desire.
Yes.
Okay.
As the lights kind of dance around you, you do see there's a couple puddles around you. There is drops of water there falling from the stalactites to the stalagmites, slowly building them up over the centuries. You have seen that there have been like little bugs and every once in a while some creature like a little lizard or something that kind of romps its way through. A couple bats every once in a while. But so far, when it comes to at least intelligent creatures, you've been the only one down there. And it's been pretty stereotypical cave for the most part.
Okay. Well. Now, the question is, if it's written from right to left, I don't see, like, numbers anywhere. Nope. Do I? That would denote these? Mm-hmm. Down 1 lies your desire. We would assume that they would all... Do they also count from right to left? The question is, what exactly what do they mean by desire? Does it just mean anything? Lies your death is probably not preferable in general. And then lies freedom sounds great, but also that could mean a lot of things. Would I know whether or not they also counted from right to left? Is that
make a history check?
I can sure do that, Mr. Gamser. I'm pretty all right with history. Okay, history. That would be a 25.
Okay. Having looked through the manifesto that you read, and seeing this, you do know that they read and write, from right to left. And so, while you haven't seen like hey, this is our number system and it's from right to left, you could make that assumption. It's probably fair.
Well, if I'm looking for a temple, I'm going to go down the left path of freedom.
The left path of freedom.
Yeah, the left down 3 lies freedom, which would be the far left cave, right?
Yeah, the far left cave.
I'm going to give that a shot.
Okay.
Because desire, in general, when you're when you're delving into ancient lore and legend, desire almost always gets you killed.
Mm-hmm.
A death, my thought is that death is probably the correct path, because people are always tricky like that. Like, where it's like, in order to truly overcome the gods, one must die to their mortal selves. That's probably what's going on. Freedom in general, it has enough things that it's a 50-50 chance whether or not this is going to end up with an extremely painful situation or a really good one. So I take the coin flip.
Okay. You begin heading down what you assume is the tunnel leading to freedom. The third tunnel.
I don't like when you say assume. That makes me concerned.
As you head down, you make your way and you can hear something ahead of you. Or at least for a moment it sounds like it's ahead of you until you realize that it's not quite in front of you, but actually to the side of you. Behind whatever the stone wall is.
To the right side?
To what would be your right side, yes.
Okay.
You're heading down the left tunnel. As you continue down this left tunnel, you perk up your ears and you can hear a low rumble. And the ever so rhythmic sound of boulders, not stomping, but stepping, I guess, is kind of a good way of saying it. On the far side of this wall, it would seem as if there is something titanic behind us that is making its way and making its rounds.
Okay.
Happy to not be in the presence of whatever titanic figure that is, you continue down and begin kind of reminiscing on what you know about the Hoterian people, and kind of the reasoning behind your choice. As you would know, the Hoterians believed that to serve a god was to almost be akin to slavery, to not have any will of your own, to only be a pawn in whatever game they're playing and whatever divine conquest they're going through, and that your life didn't really matter if you were to serve God. The only way to truly have your own life and your own freedom would be to reject and denounce the idea of divinity and to strive for a free material plane that is devoid of any divine intervention.
Yeah, no, Abenthy's all about this. Abenthy's pumped. He loves these guys.
You begin making your way down this left tunnel and find that you were rewarded for choosing correctly, having not been shunned out of the cave system with your desires, but also not finding death from whatever titanic being is next to you. You make your way and find your path unobstructed. As you continue, you make your way down for seems like another hour or so. Time is slowly beginning to lose relevance as you've been down here long enough that your internal clock is losing more and more accuracy as it goes. You're like, yeah, I think I've been down here for 2 or 3 or maybe 4 hours. I don't know.
I'm like doing my best to keep track of how many times I have to cast dancing lights because it runs out every minute. So I'm like, is this
is this 178th time or
how many times have I cast this spell?
Yeah.
I'm starting to just make marks on my arm to keep track of how many times. So
it's like days in prison, Yeah, you continue down the path, and eventually you find yourself moving along a more carved out area, something a little more intentionally designed. As the cave slowly transitions from the rounded natural formation to a large blocks. We're talking like retaining wall blocks, the ones that are like 2 foot by like 4 foot on each side, and they have like the texture. That's basically the brickwork that you're working with along your floor, and the size, everything like that is that large, very, very large scale blocks that have been made, or like akin to like almost like pyramid bricks. Obviously not as massive as pyramid bricks, but still. You continue making your way down, and eventually you find yourself in a room.
Ooh.
On the far side of the room, there's the tunnel that leads in, and on the far side of the room, you see a large stone statue. The room in and of itself is about 30 foot by 30 foot box, 30 foot by 30 foot box, with these block floors that are covering the floor and the surface in the ceilings of all of these big, huge stone blocks. On the far side, you see this statue. It is probably about 7 to 8 feet tall, a hunched man, well built, carved out of this like gray, kind of like gray marbling along it. It is a face carved in agony with a cloth covering its eyes and tied back behind its head. Along its back would be the protrusion of large angelic wings, except they have been severed and cut off about 6 inches from the roots. So he just has these two bloody, quote unquote bloodied, 6-inch stubs protruding from his shoulder blades where his wings would be. On one side, he has a war hammer hanging from his side, and on the other side, he has an empty sheath. It's only empty because resting in his hands is this massive greatsword that he has the tip dug into the ground, and he's resting on as he's like depicting an image of when Jesus was in the garden and he prayed so hard that he bled.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of that where they are so convicted that they're almost in agony.
Dude, this is so metal. This is like an album cover.
It stands before you. What would you like to do?
Well, first off, would I recognize this from any historical value, religious value, anything like that?
You can make a history or a religion check.
Well, I have the same bonus to both of those.
Boom. Which one are you making?
Because of the wings, probably religion. Okay. 26.
Okay. So, throughout history that there have been a number of gods who have mostly joined into the status of divinity. A few of them have been killed or lost their divinity, stuff like that. And so the network of divinity has basically continued to increase, had a net increase. But an interesting little statistic that you happen to know about the early times during the age of rebirth, which is the only time when gods have actually been a thing. As you know, that pre-trial and during the trial, the gods were not actually amongst the people, as they weren't appointed yet. But angels themselves and divine servants have come and gone a lot more. There have been some that have risen to high levels of status, only to be struck down for the sin of hubris and pride. There have been some that have been a constant throughout. And then there are some who have taken up kind of the beliefs of the Huteran people and come to having intimate knowledge of the gods and knowing that many of them actually have a somewhat evil alignment like this. Many of them have come to reject divinity in and of itself. This is where you get things like death pact angels, which the party had recently encountered, where they have basically sold themselves to other player beings. You get the idea of denounced angels, which would be something along this line, where it rejects its divinity as a divine servant and chooses to spend out its days as a servant amongst the material plane. You probably know of several figures throughout history who have risen to a certain level of prominence in history that could probably be explained. Their immense levels of power or influence could probably be explained by the fact that they may or may not be one of these denounced angels, as they still are extremely charming and charismatic. and you believe that the probably the originator of the Huteran culture is probably one of these denounced angels. The name has been lost to history, and nobody really knows how the Huterans actually came to be around and even like semi-prominent.
And like who their leader was or anything.
Yeah, the actual. It's not like modern history where we're like, okay, this is like a list of kings that were recorded, and this is a list of leaders. Like the Huteran documentation process was pretty minimal. It's like you had the manifesto, and that's kind of the only document, quote unquote, you actually have from this culture.
Gotcha.
Along with external historical resources. And so you're not really sure who this is per se. It could be a depiction of their leader. It could also just be kind of a representative or a symbolic statue of rejected divinity.
Gotcha. I will undo the straps to my pack just in case things get nasty, and say Visht to drop it to the ground and remove the levitation properties. Mm-hmm. I'll move Thimble up onto my shoulder. First thing I want to do is I want to start tapping the stones of this floor to make sure that this isn't some kind of twisted dance hall situation where you step on the wrong square. And...
You are going to have to dance battle the statue.
Yep. Look, that's wouldn't be the first time. All right. But I just want to check to make sure that these aren't like weighted flagstones and stuff that
go ahead and
going to die.
Yeah.
Sweet. Man, investigation, huh?
Mm-hmm.
8. Really not great on the observance part today.
These are probably, each one of these blocks is probably like 400 or 500 pounds. It's hard to really tell what's weighted, what's not weighted, as they don't move a whole lot as you tap them. Whatever weight it would take to move them is probably a lot more than you can apply as you're like tapping
just with
around on them.
With a stick.
Yeah, so
all right.
You're fairly certain that there's probably not anything trapped about them, but can't be 100%.
Yeah. Well, I will just stride with confidence across the floor.
I love it. As you approach this angelic figure,
Humbly.
You get within... What was that?
Humbly.
You get within about 5 feet or so, and you hear the grinding of the stone as the head slowly looks up. It's blindfolded. Its blindfolded eyes, somehow almost piercing into you, even though you know it can't see.
Yeah.
And the thought does cross your mind of if they carve the face and then put a thing around it, or if there's nothing behind it. You're not quite sure. Mm-hmm. Its jaw slowly opens, and from it says, "Only those who bruise our own can pass through the night gate."
Only those who what?
Who proves our own can pass through the night gates. And then its hands release the hilt of the sword and slowly come to rest side by side in front of the sword, making a little cupped appearance, allowing you to lay something down in front of it.
Oh, shoot. Well, I have that necklace. Which, unless he's I sure hope that I have a thing, and it's not like asking for blood or something like that. I hope that it's a physical object. I don't have any big prep spells. To everything that I would prep, I already have cast. So I'm just gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna take the necklace out and set it in its hands, hoping that it's like a symbol of the higher ups or something, just off of a complete guess.
You take out the necklace and lay it in the angel's hands. It closes its hands over before bringing it close and then holding the necklace in front of the blindfold as it stares into it. This does belong to all people, but you do not. At which point it stands from its kneeling position and grabs the blade, and it's going to take a swing at you.
That's unfortunate. What did you say?
Go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Oh no!
Oh
no! Okay. Do you need it now?
Sure, go for
33.
it. Okay. Okay, well, he rolled a 3.
Okay, so I go 3 times. I crit on the initiative.
Wow.
Yeah, 33.
Okay. Alright. So it stands up to its full height, which is definitely like 8 or 9 feet tall, compared to your like hunched over like 5'6" or whatever, however high you are. As it does, it comes in swinging with this massive greatsword, which is probably like 6 feet long as itself. What would you like to do, since you apparently have 3 turns before it goes?
Oh, geez. There's so many. I would like to, instead of where I am, I would like to give the correct answer. That's what I would like. I will, bonus action. I will cast, Shadow Blade.
Sanctuary!
Yeah, casting Shadow Blade. I will. Am I within attack range?
Yeah, you're within 5 feet.
Oh, I don't like that. I mean, that's my action is for Shadow Blade. I'm sure I'll be fine. I can take it. So bonus action. Action. Duh. I cast Booming Blade.
Nice.
That's a thing that I have available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I cast Booming Blade. It's an attack roll against it, and I'm gonna not blow it. Am I in dim light or darkness now that I have Shadow Blade and the lights wink out?
Yes, you would be in darkness.
Sick. I have advantage attacking creatures that are in darkness with Shadow Blade.
Nice.
Does a 14 plus does a 25 hit?
Yes.
Okay, just want to double check something here. And I will be attacking with my Shadow Blade.
Attacking with your Shadow Blade, casting Booming Blade on the Shadow Blade.
Yep, that's a thing that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am 12th level, so that's 28, and then that one here. Oh, geez, I just have so many spells. Sorry for the time. I haven't played this character before. Great, that will be 48 damage from that.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Let me grab those. That'll be... Ooh, dang. Oh, hot darn.
Hot darn.
That'll be 30 total damage.
So you're 48 plus 30, so 78 damage?
No, that's the total damage. I was saying 4d8.
Oh, 4d8.
No, so it'll just total up to 30. Or total 16 plus 14 is 30.
Nice.
Some of that is psychic damage. Does that matter?
No.
Some of it is thunder damage. Does that matter?
No.
Awesome. I'm going to make the assumption that it doesn't cast magic. And I am going to step out of its range.
Okay. It will go ahead and make an opportunity attack.
Sweet. Let me get here.
Does a 20 hit?
I will use a reaction to cast Shield.
Okay.
To make that not hit.
Okay.
And I will try to increase my distance
How far back do you go? The room is 30 feet wide.
Just not that far. Just like 15 feet, I'd say.
Okay. So 15 feet between you and the statue?
Yep.
Beautiful.
I should have chosen to not get prone. I blew it.
Is that everything you're going to do on your turn?
Yes, I'm done.
Very nice.
I've used every possible action that I can.
It is going to go ahead and approach. As it does, it drags its sword behind, and as it gets close enough, it just swings up in this wild haze of strength and aggression.
So it moves towards me, willingly?
Yes.
It'll take an additional 12 thunder damage.
Okay. Okay. As this echo of the booming blaze slashes across it, it almost doesn't even seem to notice.
Like
it just continues to charge toward you.
I'd prefer if it would just fall over and then let me go through the door.
Another non-nat 20.
I would prefer. Oh, no, that still doesn't hit because the shield lasts through the round.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
I'll make a second attack.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, okay, that's a little bit bad. That's a 28.
That one will hit me. I can't do anything about that.
Oh my gosh. Got to get so many dice. Yeah, 2d8. And... Oh, I know. Sorry. 2d8. Guys, please. You!
Bless you.
2d10, excuse me. And... Oh, perfect. So that would be 16 necrotic damage. Oh, no, sorry, slashing damage. And then 11 necrotic damage.
Okay, for a total of 27. Okay. That means that I have to succeed on a con save to maintain things of 13. Okay. Let's roll not tilted. Okay, we're good. 14.
Beautiful. And then it will do its last use of its actions, which will be I'll need you to make... Oh, so another attack.
Yeah, hear me out. What if it didn't?
Well, what if it didn't? 25 to hit?
25. That will hit. I currently have a 23 AC.
Nice. Okay, cool. Do you happen to be immune to necrotic damage?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm just a guy.
I'm just a guy. You know, I just have a regular life. Ooh. Sorry, bud. That's max damage.
It's okay.
18 necrotic damage.
Okay.
And your strength score is reduced by 1.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
As it comes up, it has this inhuman strength to it. As each of these blows, as you go to try and parry them and block, they just kind of blow through your defenses and cut and slash before eventually it comes in and it just grabs at your throat, and you feel this necrotic energy like drain into your neck and your collarbones and down into your shoulders, and you can physically feel your muscles wither and slowly just start to deteriorate.
Super not cool, dog.
Before it just kind of like tosses you back a little bit. That will take us to your turn.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Ow. DJ, I'm a wizard.
I know.
I'm a wizard, dog.
But you're like the epitome of like muscle wizard. You know,
dog,
your
I'm a wizard, bro.
killing you.
I'm a wizard. I don't do this a whole lot. By the way, I succeeded on the save to maintain Shadowblade.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, shoot, bro. All right. Well, it's my turn again. That's how it works. I'm going to, gosh dang, a booming blade again. That's the thing that I do.
That's the thing that I do.
I'm trying to think. I'm double checking to make sure I don't have some incredibly awesome other option to do that.
You have the banishment spell, perhaps.
No, I'm a wizard.
You just have banishment spell?
I know. I don't take it though. Leave that to Cather. Yeah, I'm just doing some damage, boom blading it up. Let's do this properly. Okay, let's try to roll in the box, Aaron. Let's try to roll a number above a 10. Okay, does a 27 hit?
Yes, definitely.
I will expend a charge from my tome.
Gosh. You expend a charge from your what?
My fulminating tome.
Okay.
It's one of my magic items. To add an additional 2d6 and knock it prone.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, 14. 26.
Side. Grab this.
So 34. I just want to double check here.
Been
Okay.
DMing for 4 years. Still needs to have the DM screen to know all the details of prone.
I feel that. So that'll be a total of 34 damage, and it will be knocked prone.
Ooh.
I will once again kind of dance out of its range.
Okay.
I'll do my best to do that.
Yeah.
I'll add an extra 6 damage to that with my with my power surge.
40 damage. Wow.
Yeah.
It will go ahead and try and make an opportunity attack once again.
Mm-hmm.
That's a natural 1, so it's going to miss.
Sweet. And I'll move 20 feet away this time. Just really feeling frisky
spicy,
today.
You know. You do also have the tunnel behind you as well.
Nah, I don't want to step out of its home. That feels like running away.
Gotta stay within the confined areas of this cage match.
Yeah, I'll move 20 feet away and hope that it only has. I'll move 25 feet away. I'll move as far as I can and hope that it only has 15 feet or 30 feet of movement.
Fair enough. Except that it has 40 feet of movement.
Okay, it was worth a shot.
Yeah, fair enough. Here's the thing that I really enjoy about combat with you, Aaron, is that you know the game well enough that you can make very strategic plays and hope that if the average is the average, then this should work.
Then it'll work.
Yeah. So I believe that's my turn then, right?
Yes, I will end my turn. That's my action. I don't have a bonus action to use, so I'm not going to use one.
Yeah, it will... oh, excuse me. It will, with a determination only of those truly convicted, will continue to hound down upon you, and it will make a couple more attacks on you.
I'd prefer if you didn't.
That is a natural 2, which would be an 11.
No.
18 to hit.
18 misses. Oh, it would hit. I'm gonna cast shield again.
Alright.
A good old shield.
Perfect. And that would have been another 18 as well.
Okay, sweet.
So, as you've been backing up, it just does not let up. It is this relentless force that continues to just hound on you as it comes in and swings and slashes and dives forward, and you just barely dodge and parry, and have this this arcane shield that pops up in the moment that you need it, just in time to kind of knock you out of the way and block this stone sword, this massive stone sword that it has. What would you like to do, friend?
Oh, I mean, geez.
Booming blade.
It's a good possibility, because it seems to be doing pretty alright for me. I've still got Shadow Blade on me.
Did you cast Booming Blade last time?
Oh, yes, it takes an additional 3d8 damage. Thank you for reminding me, DM, of the damage of my own spells.
Yeah, yeah.
12. That'll be an additional 20 thunder.
Wow. Wow.
You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Fair enough.
So we're going Boom and Blade round 3.
Round 3.
Guys, I swear that he has other spells. I feel like a warlock.
You sound like a warlock.
Okay. Does a 23 hit?
It does.
That's what it is? 23? Sweet. I'm gonna spend one more tome charge because this fellow hurts to knock him prone and add an additional 2d6. Okay, that's 10, 19, 26, 33, 33 damage on that and knocked prone.
So, thankfully I didn't do any damage last round, but he would have had to gotten up from prone, which means he had to take 20 feet of his movement to get up. So
he still would have reached me. I moved 25 feet away, so 20 moves up to still there.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
So yeah,
okay, cool.
That's what I mapped it out. We're good. Yeah. So did you catch that damage?
Sorry, what was it?
An additional 33 points of damage and knocked prone.
33. Holy crap! You've done 155 damage so far.
Yeah, Abenthy slaps, bro.
Cantrips. Slaps, dog.
Cantrips, my guy. I, once again, don't really have a bonus action spell that I super want to cast or need to cast. So I will, if it's just gonna be there, if it's not casting any spells, I don't need to try to bait out reactions and tempt God. So I'm just gonna stay next to it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna move at all.
Interesting choice. Wait, you knock it prone, at which point, when you push it back, it leaves the sword where it is, embedded in the ground, and it just reaches its arms back, and they bend in kind of this weird, contorted way.
I'd prefer if you didn't.
As the marble cracks, and it catches itself on the ground before pushing up on its wrists to push back up to get up from prone. So that'll be 20 feet of its movement, but it is just going to continue to bear down on you like the wrath of God itself, or make its attack. 24 to hit.
Can I stop that?
I don't think that should
Nope.
hit. I think AC is a 25 right now.
Well, right now without shield, it's 18. So
18.
I was just double checking to see if a shield would get me there. But nope, I'm not gonna shield in that case. I'm just gonna take it.
Okay, take it on the chin like a champ.
DJ, I don't have a lot of health.
That's 13 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh, my dag's only one.
Ow.
And 10 points of necrotic damage.
Okay, I'm in pain. I want you to know that. My maximum health is 77. I'm not doing incredible.
Your max health is 77?
My max health is 77.
And you're at 30?
I'm at 9. All right, bud. I'm at 9.
Well, lucky for you, that's a natural 2 on the second attack.
Okay, that's good. We like that.
And a natural 3 for the strength drain. So
we're doing great.
While God may be hunting you, his favor is upon you.
Ow. Ow.
That will take us to your turn. What would you like to do?
Oh, geez. I'm in a tough spot. I was hoping to not have to activate this now, but I really don't have a whole lot of choice. So Triplet's back against the wall, just ducking and weaving, is going to go, Tactical! And then activate Haste.
Okay.
The Shadow Blade spell will fade, because a different, concentration spell has activated. So, I'm still going to cast Booming Blade as my action. Because that's what I got going on.
Make 17 attacks.
Hey, I'm a wizard, dog. I don't make that many. So, okay, that's not incredible. Oh, geez, I think I miss. Yeah, it's only going to be like a 14. Booming Blade, you failed me when I needed you most.
Oh no.
But that's... Let's see, what else can I do here?
You get a second attack from his...
Well, I mean, yeah, I can make the attack just as a regular thing, but I can't do a whole lot with it. I was kind of hoping to just finish it off here. But yeah, I'm just going to make another attack. Just a normal one, not Booming Blade. Oh, it stood up. Does that count as expending movement? I don't know.
Let's see. Well, let's read this. A prone creature's only movement option is to crawl, unless it stands up and thereby ends the condition. That doesn't really help.
No.
I don't know. Let's Google it.
Oof. Hey, gang. Welcome to Rules Lawyers, the show. While I attempt to not kill my character in a one-shot when I've already played it in the main campaign. Oh, just saying, Marshall's on it. So you gotta
according to rpg.stackexchange.com, since standing up costs half your movement and is therefore not crawling, and crawling is the only way to move while prone, standing up is not moving.
Oh, that sucks. It was worth a shot. I agree. Boo.
Yeah, okay. I would agree.
It's a fair thing.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that was a part of Booming Blade, and so I totally should have moved, and just completely forgot that was a thing.
You like to have moved? That's totally okay.
I mean, I would have to survive an opportunity attack.
Well, no, we can retcon so that you didn't.
Well, I would have to survive an opportunity attack with disadvantage because he would have been prone, but I have 9 health, DJ.
Do you want to risk it? We're risking it for the biscuit?
Screw it. I need as much damage as I can get.
Okay, great.
So he moves, takes 3d8 damage. Thanks, kind and merciful DM. He will take 19 damage when he moves.
Okay, and the opportunity attack will be a 17 hit?
I currently have an 18 AC at this point in time.
You dance your way back, skirting off the wall and getting as far away as you possibly can, as this thing who has one hand back behind it, trying to catch itself from the prone, just reaches out and claws at you, but you just skirt out of the way just in time, and make your way, I'm assuming 30 feet back?
Yeah, it's same thing. So.
Yeah. So it gets up from prone, it makes its 20 feet of movement toward you, it's currently 10 feet from you. What would you like to do?
Well, I mean, so the whole turn, everything goes as normal, right?
We'll just start from here. So we'll just start your turn over.
Oh, shoot. How much health was I at?
I believe you're still at 9.
Okay, so starting the turnover, so I haven't made the Booming Blade attack or anything?
Haven't made the Booming Blade, you still have the spell slot. Still at 9. Creature's currently 10 feet from you. You have all your movement.
Is this before or after I activated the Terpsichore?
We'll say you haven't activated the Terpsichore, because you did that out of desperation, so.
Well, I'm still pretty desperate. I think I still have to activate Terpsichore here, just because I need the AC. So Terpsichore, Booming Blade as usual.
Okay.
Going in.
As you're slashing at it, and especially as you're coming up on it, you are starting to notice there are like cracks and fissures starting to form.
It deserves it. That will be... Does a 27 hit on that? You alright there, bud?
Sorry, I choked on water. Does a 27 hit?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay. I will expend a charge from my staff, and I will expend my last charge of the tome to add a d6 to my staff attack and 2d6 to my booming blade.
Okay.
So it's there, and then I gotta math out the dice that I need. Okay. Those are the dice for this. And then it's 2. Okay. 8, 9. And then... Oh, geez. I lost a d8 somewhere. There it is.
No d8s. No d8s were harmed in the making of this one shot.
That'll be 26 damage from that attack.
Wow, nice.
And it will be knocked prone.
Yeah, it's not looking great at the moment.
Great.
You knock it prone. Are you going to stay there? Are you going to back up?
I have a hasted action at the moment, so I'm going to stab it again.
Heck
now that
yeah.
it's prone.
You have advantage on it.
Yes. Here we go. Big numbers, no whammies. 29 to hit.
That'll hit.
And I'll expend another charge of my staff to deal an extra d6.
Do it.
It's pretty weak on the damage without Shadow Blade. That'll be another 18 damage.
As you come up, you expend your charge and light your blade with an arcane flame and just crashed into this, which is this like bent over angel and it's trying to like catch itself. And you crash through its stomach and what would be the fake ribs and everything that would be inside a person. And then just twist your blade, causing this shattering of cracks to splatter across its body, before it crumbles at your feet.
I've been called a lot of things. Many of them bad. But I am Abenthy Tripowitz, and I have never been called unworthy. The haste spell wears off, and I'm like...
I'm tired now.
I
do.
Well, I have a magic item called Kjartum's Ointment. It's basically like a jar of Vaseline, and you can apply it to wounds, or you can just eat it. I don't have the effort to... I'm just gonna eat it. So I'm gonna eat some Vaseline to regain some hit points.
Nice. Vaseline sponsor us.
Yep. Oh, that's not incredible.
Magic Icy Hot, that's right.
So that's 1, 6, and another 10, so 16. I'm eating just a jar, just shoveling Icy Hot into my mouth. Let's see, 16, that's 25. I'll call it good for there. I have 7 uses left of that. Oh, wait, no, I've got 2 uses left of that. Just looking at the wrong magic item. Okay, let me quick update my health. Excellent. I look for a door.
You look behind the statue, or the pedestal the statue is on, and you see this square passage behind it. Looks like it's trimmed with kind of like a pillar style trim, and you can't see beyond it as there's almost this veil through it. In the veil, it's pitch black like the night sky, and every once in a while you'll see a small little star kind of fall from the top to create almost this illusion of the night sky that's like slowly falling.
Well, suppose I can assume that that's the night gate. I'm going to dig through the rubble of the statue. I'm just going to loot it, and I'm going to look for that necklace again, because I feel like
make an investigation check.
Important. Why is the stone so large? 19. My goodness, it's the first to check with my eyes that has gone not terribly.
Nice. Yeah, you find your necklace. You also find at the center of the statue is a small, you can tell at one point it was marble, but it's slowly been transformed via magic to be more of an opaque sphere inside of it, with a gentle swirl of arcane energy inside.
Awesome. I will take the 10 minutes to cast Identify.
Okay. 10 minutes later, it's not a specific magic item, but more as actually a component is more akin to what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the equivalent of an arcane battery.
Okay. For making golems.
With
and
it,
whatnot.
you have basically the equivalent of what you think you could pull from it. You have the equivalent of an extra second level spell slot.
Oh, sweet. That may come in handy. All right. Well, shall we go, Thimble, into the night gate? Right.
Is Thimble even animated at this point?
Yeah, Thimble looks at me. I make Thimble look at me and shake its head like a puppet.
Nice.
And then I'll leave my pack. Oh no, I'll take the pack with me. Say Abnished, and cause it to levitate again because I don't know how soon it's going to be until I get back to this hallway.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that into the room with me.
You grab your pack, talk to Thimble, and make your way through the night gate. Which, as you actually pass through it, it's like passing through like a wall of cold almost. As you pass through it, you just feel this coldness seep into your skin, into your bones as you pass through it.
That's the icy part.
You make your way down a little ways before finding yourself looking over a small balcony that looks over this massive cavern. The cavern itself actually has an open roof, so you can actually see the sky above, and so it's more like this, almost like half covered, almost stadium-esque. You know how they have like stadiums will have like the open ceilings like that, so it's like encased, but there's still the sky.
It's like
kind of like a natural stadium.
Dome.
Yeah, yeah.
The glass and stuff.
Exactly, it's very similar to that. Above the stadium itself, you can see the jungle forest above you and several hundreds, if not thousands of feet of roots and vines peeking through the ceiling and over the edge as this cave is just from floor to ceiling covered in vegetation. If you were to look at it from an aerial view, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that there was any difference between the structures of the cave and whatever's within the cave and the actual landscape up above, as it's all covered in this green vegetation and is overgrown by the jungle. But laying before you, you do see a massive underground city full of small buildings, big buildings. You can see what would have been kind of more communal buildings, stuff where food would have been prepared, and where maybe administration could have been, and all these different things. Small buildings for more living quarters. But at the center of this whole city, you see a massive Aztec-style pyramid. You know, the one that has like the staircases that go up, and then at the top it's flat with the building on top of it. You see this massive temple in front of you, and you can only assume that you have found the Buteran temple is what lies in front of you.
I start heading on my way. Hopefully there's no more guardians that'll drop out of the sky and kill me.
Fair enough. With your 9 HP.
Yeah, well, I'm up to 34.
Nice. That's a pretty decent amount of healing.
I ate so much Vaseline, dog.
I ate so much Vaseline.
I only have 5 uses. I used 3 of them. They heal for 2d8 plus 2.
Hey, that's pretty good. You make your way down and begin making your way through the streets of whatever city this would have been. The name of it lost in time. The only thing of importance that is remembered is what's known as the Buteran Temple. you make your way through the streets, and you're definitely not alone down here. There's plenty of vegetation. There's plenty of fauna down here as well. You can see that there's little cubs for what looks like maybe a cougar or cheetah or something off to one side that kind of make their way through the streets and disappear as they see you coming. There are monkeys that hang from tree to tree and swing from vine to vine you can actually see that there is some that even crawl all the way up to the top of the cave and climb up above the rim and come in and out of here. You can see that there are different, a large assortment of jungle fauna. I'm not exactly sure all the creatures that are native to the jungle. I'm thinking of Jungle Book, but I don't know how accurate that is. But there are a number of creatures down here that make this place their home. You also see a variety of different flora. You see a lot of the like traditional large, big, green, leafy plants, but you also see a number of plants that are on the rarer side. Things that are good for herbalism, things that are good for a little bit of alchemy, stuff like that. Many of the plants that you recognize from your years of study, and so that is something you take note of.
Yeah, I will. I'll shove those into my anything that's good for like alchemy or medicine or anything like that. I'll pick up and take with me if I can. I do want to ask. I will look into like buildings and houses and
okay.
I'll try to find. Are there like bodies, like skeletons, or does it look like this place was abandoned?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Come on, dice. Come on, you scum. 13.
Okay. You begin looking through the different buildings and huts and all this, and you have yet to find a body.
Yeah.
Now, with your intellect, you would know that there's a couple different things. It could be that this area was abandoned for whatever reason, as the Hutarian people just kind of disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
It also could be that, it's been 3,500 years or 4,000 years, or actually, let's see. The temple was built in 35 PT, and so the temple was built like 4,000, like 770 years ago or something like that. So like it's been almost 5 millennia since this temple was built, mm-hmm. and nobody really knows when these people disappeared. So it could just be that their bodies have just decayed away completely, or been eaten by the vegetation or the fauna or whatever. You're not quite sure. It is a little weird that you're not seeing really any traces of bodies at all. Typically, you'd at least be able to find something, some bones or something would be here, but you currently don't see anything.
I have a theory, which Tripwits would also have. Is there any way that I could check for some, like if there was some form of like divine retribution?
How would you check for that?
Well, I mean, first off, I'll ritual cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
To keep an eye out for that. I know what, like, the after effects of divine magic, and kind of what, if that would leave any marks or trails. I also know what the, like, I would know what the cleric, ability that, like, hey, God, do this thing for me.
Yeah, divine intervention. Yeah.
Divine intervention, that's the word. Would kind of look like, because as much as I dislike it, Orphan has gotten us out of a couple of scrapes that way. So I'm basically looking for any of that kind of stuff. Like, I want to know if this town was basically just wiped off the map in one fell swoop, and no bodies exist because of that.
You cast Detect Magic, specifically looking for divine magic, and you do sense magic. First of all, obviously all the items on your person that are magical, whole 9 yards. There is a residual level of magic around this area. Mm-hmm. It does seem to be potentially divine in nature. It's very, very old, so it could be potentially. You do also notice that behind you, there seems to be a much stronger source of magic coming up behind you.
Like, how close? Like, night gate distance, or, like, right behind me?
A little bit in between. Probably, like, maybe, like, 50 feet back.
I'll look up... Correction. I'll have Thimble turn his head to look behind me, and I'll look through Thimble's eyes. Because I can do that with Find Familiar.
You turn your head, the head of your puppet behind, and you see a familiar dwarf, Alisar in nature, few golden ornaments braided into his beard. In his typical, very nonchalant, laissez-faire attitude, just hands on his hip, like whistling as he's just like looking around and like strutting through the square, not really caring at all for the details. Not per se not caring for the details. Very observant of the details, but not overly concerned for his personal safety.
I'll exit my vision through Thimble, and I'll stop walking, and I'll point my thumb behind me and fire a ray of frost past his head.
Oh!
I turn around and I go, "Old man, you can't just go walking up behind me. Announce yourself or something."
Well, I must admit, I am a little disappointed to see you, as I did feel as though I was the first to discover this place.
Well, you're not. I got here first. Also, I had to defeat a Death Angel statue.
Is that what it was?
Yes, did you just walk on in here?
Basically, yeah.
Heavens, shoddy work. It doesn't even reassemble itself when someone's gone through. My goodness.
Well, I feel as if a place like this probably didn't set booby traps that would prevent it from being discovered from multiple different people. Like, once it's discovered, you know?
I mean, I still think it's shoddy work. How did you even find this place?
Well,
and if you followed me again, I will be incredibly upset.
Definitely didn't follow you. And you see him just like tuck a book into his jacket that's just like Abenthy's every move on the title, and it's just tucked into the jacket of his book. But that's not important how I found it. Obviously, you will be taking credit, assuming that you make it out alive.
Is that a threat, old man?
I'm
ready to throw down.
Interested in you do not look as if you could throw down at the moment. You look to be.
You don't know anything about
Have you been
me.
keeping yourself well? Have you gotten a cold recently?
I fought a golem 30 seconds ago.
You know, to each its own, I guess. But you should really maybe you try like calisthenics. You know, like toe touches.
I could suck the vitality out of you and use it to heal myself if I wished. You're lucky that I don't do that all the time.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go check out this temple real.
Not if I get there first. Just start sprinting.
You and Orvin.
I hike up my robes.
You and Orvin begin like schoolyard boys sprinting towards this temple. Both of you get about 10 steps up the massive staircase before.
I stepped on it first.
I can see it.
I'm a winner. Just like always.
You slowly begin making your way up the steps of this massive temple, and make your way up the staircase that probably has like 300 to 400 steps on it. Like, it's a lot. Very much Tulio and Miguel, where like you'd be like crawling up the stairs when you get to like the last couple of steps.
You would think that with the ability to create incredibly effective golems, that they would have invented some form of moving staircase, could call it like an escalator, or something along this.
It's an excellent business idea.
Oh, we would make millions, and by we I mean I would make millions. I copyright that. It's my idea.
Orvin's already written it down.
God dang it. God be damned.
You both make your way up, and as you're going up, there are several tiers to it. Along the first tier, it looks to be mostly a kind of ceremonial, decorum type of place. You see that there are almost like gargoyles, not quite the same, but almost like gargoyles. There are statues of these fallen angels, each of them with their wings ripped off, that are holding what's it called? The Catholic smoke thing.
Censers.
Sensors. I was going to say signals, but that's not quite. They're holding what looks like a sensor that has a little light in it that is lighting the bottom ring of this temple. And there seems to be like one every 10 or 15 feet that kind of adorn the trim of this temple. As you go up to the next level, it seems to be a area for the probably what would have been the royalty of this civilization. It seems to have a number of living quarters that are all well adorned with what would have been, the height of luxury at that point in time, having just come off trial. Things were kind of basically hit the reset button. So we're talking like, stone slabs that people could have laid on and like weaved chairs that are made out of like, bark and stuff like that are like trimmed out of bark and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the third level, the highest level, which seems to be, almost this ceremonial ground. You and Orvin, round up the top. Go ahead. I'm just curious. Just out of curiosity, go ahead and make a constitution check for me.
Constitution check?
Yeah. This is just to see who gets to the very top first.
Please don't blow this from me. Rubber dice, please. Look, this is more important than anything else that has happened in this one shot.
Orvin got an 18.
14.
What was that?
You son of a gun. As he's nearing the top, can I attempt to cast a spell on him?
Please do.
I'm going to cast Vortex Warp. He needs to make a con save.
Okay. Hold my dice again. I'm going to grab the tower. I'm just going to grab the die and roll it across the table like old school dude. That's a natural 20.
You son of a gun. I cough halfway through the spell. God dang it. I almost cast haste again just to give me that boost.
He just is. You guys are both crawling, and you guys both begin to see the top. And he like looks over at you, and you look over at him. You guys make eye contact, and he starts like crawling faster. But you just can't quite get your body to move as fast. You reach out to cast your spell before you choke on your own saliva, and he's able to just barely reach the top.
I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
I discovered the temple first.
You are a liar. I saw it first. I discovered it. It's mine. I did it. You did nothing.
He rolls over as you come up to the top, and you both look upon this vast expanse. There is a cap to this, so you guys come up on this level, and there's 4 pillars that hold up kind of like this roof. It's made of what looks to be a somewhat like turquoise tile, like terracotta tiles, like the roof style. They have those type of tiles made of this like turquoise stone that's covered in moss and vegetation and dirt. It's almost hard to tell. You can just see the patches of the terracotta, the turquoise terracotta, peeking out from beneath all of the vegetation. On the inside, beneath this roof, it is very, very dark, as all of the light from the outside seems to almost diminish. Inside, you can see there is, at the center, what looks to be an altar of some sort. At the altar, as you guys approach, you can see, first of all, coming off the altar, there are these channels in the top of the temple, on the floor, in the floor and top of the temple, that lead from the altar and then down to either side of the 4 staircases. So they split off into 8 channels. You quickly assume that is for the
it's blood.
At the center of it, on this pedestal, you can see that there are there's a divot in one side. There's 4 chains on either corner, and then on one side, the side that's facing the back away from the main staircase that you guys went up, there is what looks to be a divot. Upon pretty quick investigation, you realize that the way that this would work is they would lay their victims down or their sacrifices down, face down. And so they would chain their wrists and they chain the ankles, and then their face would go into this divot. Strewn about around the altar, you do see for the first time any semblance of there being life here. Humanoid life. Kind of, I should say. As you look around, there are vines and vegetation that have grown up around the temple and everything like that. So as you and Orvin begin kind of kicking around and stuff like this, you're the first to notice a set of bone and rotting feathers. You pull away at the vines and discover a mostly decayed, decrepit, rotting wing. As you look around, you see that as you continue to pull back at the vegetation, there are actually several sets of these. It's hard to tell, as you'd have to remove all the vines from the entire temple to know how many, but it looks to be somewhere around probably 25 to 75 sets of wings.
It's a lot of wings. Well, first off, these aren't our cockerel wings. Because
no.
If they were, they wouldn't still be here.
No.
Which means that they're probably angel wings. Or some kind of celestial creature wings. Because those don't decay as quickly, I would assume. So they would still be here after 4,000 years. Okay. I poke it with my staff. It doesn't move or anything.
The wing twitches. No, I'm just kidding.
I will lean down. I will touch it, with my hand.
It's gross.
It's just gross.
It's a gross rotting wing.
I will. I'll take some feathers.
You'll take some feathers?
Yeah, just before Orvin notices anything's going on.
Yeah, you take some rotting angel feathers.
Yeah. You never know. They might come in handy. I don't know what they're for.
Yeah. You take some feathers. As you do, you notice that Orvin has turned from the altar and is looking from the top of the temple up towards the edge of the crater, edge of the cave. You come up beside him, and he points out, "Are those buildings up there?" And as you follow his gaze and adjust your spectacles, you do notice that it looks as if there are matching buildings along the rim of the cave. Go ahead. You made your detect magic check. Go ahead and make just a general intelligence check for me.
Okay.
Orvin will be helping you. You guys begin to debate a couple different things, so you have advantage.
Okay. 21.
Okay. As you and Orvin debate, Orvin also begins looking around the edges of the cave itself. If you see, it's hard to tell from the vegetation, but there are streaks along the edges of the cave. I would say it looks as if this area has lowered. It's shrank down to be beneath the crater. And as you guys continue to debate, the signs become more and more clear that there's some sort of divine intervention that caused this temple to be crushed and lowered down beneath it. In fact, as you begin to look, you now just begin to see not only just the decay that would come from years of unmanaged vegetation and plants and everything like this, but several of the buildings around the edge are completely crumbled and crushed and cracked and all this type of stuff. I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
Oh, well, I mean, you pretty much answered the question. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like we could press a button and the magical things would just raise this city back up. Answer the question. I will also point out to Orvin the angel wings when there's a pause in conversation. Well, Mr. Religious Man, do you have any guess as to which one it would be? Do you think there's still a god at this time? Because it clearly was. It was a god.
That would make the most amount of sense. Let me... I'll be right back. And he's going to go to the center of the temple and kneel down on the altar, crisscrossed. And I think it's the commune spell that I'm going to go with, but I'm just going to double check.
I don't have any commune type of thing to do, but I will think to myself and try to figure out, is there any god that would be known for this kind of thing? Is it,
It just kind of depends. First of all, as the creator of Orvin, and I know very little about him actually, what god does Orvin serve?
Oh, geez. I don't know enough about your deities. Give me a moment.
What domain?
Probably, either the knowledge or forge.
Okay.
Is there a forge and knowledge god?
I believe there is.
That would be incredibly convenient if there was.
Let's see.
Welcome to World Building on the Fly with the Paper Dungeon.
Oh, it's forge and life domain, not knowledge domain. No. But of the knowledge domain, there's Saracogni, who's known as the Cosmic Historian. He's a big old elephant type dude who his whole thing is like recording history. There's Habel, which is the one that I pointed out in the latest episode of CPT. Or there's Aprion, the knowing tactician, which is the god that Havel pseudo.
It's probably the first one because I like Habel. And if I liked Habel, then I wouldn't dislike Orvin as much as I do. So it's probably the big elephant friend.
Okay, perfect. You see as he begins to commune with Saracogni, basically asking for the history of this place.
Mm-hmm.
As you think through, you're asking if there's any gods that you know of who are kind of known for this kind of reputation?
Yeah, ancient gods that are known for, like a lot of my research is finding proof that the gods aren't that great, and that, the Weave is probably the truest god, and that a lot of gods are just unreasonably cruel because originally they were mortal. So I would think that I would know some amount of gods, even ancient ones that are no longer gods, who are kind of known for very cruel acts of divine retribution.
Okay. Go ahead and make a religion check.
Okay. I'm normally pretty alright with those. Ooh, 25.
Okay. So there's a few different gods that come to mind. There is Malkuma, who is the prime deity of the Order domain. His title is the Ever Judge.
Yeah, and he's the one who stops problems before it happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's also of the War domain. There's a god known as Bellerex, which is his title is the Raging War. He's like the Ares of this pantheon.
Gotcha.
Just kind of kills for the sake of killing and just enjoys that type
combat.
of stuff. If they were to insult Bellerex, it would not be unexpected for divine retribution. But the prime candidate that is brought to your mind, would be the chaotic evil god of the death domain known as Oswald. Probably one of, if not the most cruel god amongst the pantheon. He very much enjoys the idea of causing divine wrath. And also deals a lot with his own pride. And so if it were to be an insult to him, or this idea that he should not be worshipped, especially out of the idea that like the gods could be cruel or unworthy or anything like that, he would probably be one to wipe him from the face of the earth.
Yeah, we're not friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
As you kind of come to this conclusion, Orvin also begins to come out of his communion. I can't be sure, but it would seem as if Sir Cockney would highly suspect Oswald.
Yeah, it's Oswald every time. So, still think those gods are so great?
I think my god is great. I have never claimed to think that all gods are great.
Oh, I suppose we can work on it.
So, what are you going to do about all this?
Well, what do you mean, what am I going to do about it?
Well, I think I'm going to go write a paper and publish it.
I mean, mine's going to be better.
Mine might be faster.
But quality over quantity.
And that history will remember that I am the one who discovered this.
History will remember that you're a stuck-up prude.
Oh, I have missed our banter, friend. But I have a paper to go write, so I will believe.
I actually do have a question for you. Oh? You being all religiously minded, I pointed out the angel wings for you. And I assume that those are double-checked.
Yes.
You would know more about angels than I would, as much as I hate to admit it.
I have never met one, but due to the undying nature of it, I would assume that they are a creature that has a bit of a longer lasting life, and so it makes sense that it would be angel wings, especially knowing the history of this place and the several hundred statues of angels without wings.
Well, that's the question that I have. See, normally, on an altar of this sort, the participants are not exactly willing. Am I correct on that? That's why they have the chains and everything, I would assume.
Potentially, yes.
So do you think that the pile of angel wings would be... they had been capturing angels? Or were they... because most of the time the angels that they would design represent are ones that would reject divinity, which would lose their wings either voluntarily or because of the gods, not stripped from them at a table.
Potentially, I would agree that would make logical sense.
So, if these angels were not willing participants, but clearly there were some angels that were, due to the iconography and everything along those lines, do you think that there's a divide in the angels themselves that perhaps has been missed out on, simply looking at the mortal side of things rather than the immortal?
It stands to reason, especially since there are theories in the birth of this culture that it came from these forsaken angels. I would not be surprised if perhaps whatever led these people had its own plan of vengeance on its kin. Now, I do not know the.
Please continue. I'll hold my tongue for now.
I do not know if amongst angels of their code of honor or responsibility, but I could see their wings being a very symbolic part of who they are, and if those were to be taken from them, perhaps even if it were not to be the true cause of losing their divinity, but perhaps if it was enough of a cultural significance amongst them that if they were to lose their wings, they would feel like they are unworthy of serving the divine servants, or being divine servants, and so perhaps through this vengeance, he or she or whatever creature that led these people was looking to bring its kin down to its level.
Interesting.
But it's all theory.
I mean, of course, there's a lot of questions at hand, because the main thing for me is, most likely, these wings were cut off by mortal hands. And who knows whether or not the angel even resided here. And if those wings are still capable, who's to say that the angel isn't still alive?
Are you suggesting that whatever led this group, assuming that the initial theories are correct, could still be walking among us?
I mean, it's just a working theory. But
it's quite captivating, though.
I mean, yes, it would provide a lot of insight as to what exactly, where these people came from, what exactly they were doing, and what exactly the purpose behind them was. Also, it would clear up a lot of questions as to who, whatever god, if it was Ozulok, decided to snuff them out. But one angel who could pretty easily hide among mortal people without their wings and everything, wouldn't be too hard to slip into the crowd. Of course, I have no evidence to this. It's just a working theory. I have to find proof first, but seems as though they would see divine retribution coming.
They would certainly, I would imagine, have prepared for it. But at the same time, the power of the gods is immeasurable.
I mean, I would think that it's actually pretty measurable. I released that metric, actually. Perhaps you haven't read it.
I did not care for it as much as you would have.
Oh, well, what do they say? Facts don't care about your feelings. Anyway, we should probably go along our business.
As you both begin to head off the top of the temple, you get off the altar and begin making your way. And as you approach the stairs, you both notice that climbing the stairs, the statues of the angels with their wings cut off have all begun making their way up the walls and the stairs, and almost like Weeping Angel-esque. As soon as you see them, they all freeze and stop moving. But with those angels, about probably 75 in total, creeping up to the top of the synagogue with you and Orvin standing there almost in awe of the idea that these statues would be coming after you. We're going to go ahead and end this one shot.
But how do I escape?
The world will never know. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with us. That was really, really fun for me. Kind of fun just to get to explore Abenthy and his relationship with Orvin, and also get to explore this aspect of his past. He has many feats amongst him, and so it's fun to explore one of the smaller ones, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I had a great time. I hope you enjoyed that.
I mean, I had a blast. I didn't die. That was the main goal. Don't die.
Don't die.
Don't die. We succeeded.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I have Twitch up, and I literally turned to the Twitch screen and looked at it and was like, thank
you everybody.
Yes,
for coming out
exactly.
here tonight.
Thank you everybody for watching. We really appreciate it. We're excited to get the Triple Witch one shot going. Had this little introduction to his character. And then, like I said at the beginning, be on the lookout for the duo shots, the shots with Renaya and Leshka, and then I believe it's Leshka or is it Kappa?
It should be Leshka.
And then the shots with Abenthy and Edward.
Yes.
They're going to be super fun. Like we said earlier, they'll be released on Patreon as early release, and then they will be released to our Twitch subscribers. So if you're not on our Patreon or you're not a Twitch subscriber, get on that. Go do those things. If you have Amazon Prime, you can do a free subscription, whole 9 yards. You just have to be aware that you do that every month.
Yep, and we will probably be releasing the stuff for subscribers after the patrons get their things through the Discord. So if you're a subscriber and you're not in the Discord, you're going to be missing out. So get in there. Do it.
Also, I don't know if we acknowledged it, but we hit 1K followers on Twitch, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much for hanging out and following and watching and doing all these different things. We love it. And
it's been super awesome.
Is there anything else to talk about?
September through October. Keep an eye out for end of September through October. We will have our mini campaign Between the Rows, Season 3, Sins of the Father.
That's crazy.
Yep. So keep an eye out for that as well. Other than that, there's the regular plugs that I've already plugged them in the previous one. So I think we should be good. I don't have anything else. Thanks for coming to my one shot. I'm excited to play this character in the main campaign.
Yeah,
I'm excited to talk to people and do some stuff.
Heck yeah, dog. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys. Good luck and Godspeed, Dungeoneers. We will see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.